He is Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer, member of the NBA 75th anniversary team, of course, analyst for Turner Sports. Reg will be on the call for the Bucks and Suns this Thursday night on TNT. Did the Lakers Clippers last week. And, of course, he will be part of All-Star Weekend festivities from the 18th until the 20th. The great Reggie Miller back here in the man cave. Reggie looks like he could still play.
I'm back! Yeah, you know it's true.
Oh, no. Okay. Little Milli Vanilli, huh?
We back!
I know.
We back minus...
Yeah, McLovin. It's okay. It was a good run for him.
It was a good run.
You know?
He overachieved.
Yeah.
All right, he went longer than he really should have been with us, right?
Yeah, well, we love him. It's like when you lost Ron Artest, It's just like it's a valuable guy.
He overachieved.
You moved on.
He overachieved with us with the Pacers, came out to L.A. and won a championship, but we're not really worried about that in Indiana, are we?
No.
Okay.
Favorite football team growing up?
Oh, the Raiders.
That's what I thought.
Lester Hayes, that was my guy, number 37. Oh.
But when they moved here, did you get to go see them? Because being in Oakland, you probably didn't
No, never went to Oakland. I think I went to one Raiders game as a kid growing up. So Raiders 1A, Colts 1B. Colts were my adopted team, obviously being in Indiana for 18 years. So those are my two football teams. I'm an AFC guy. So, people keep saying, well, who are you going to pull for in the Super Bowl? Obviously, you're going to go for the Rams.
Yeah.
I'm like, we didn't really like the Rams growing up. I do believe the Rams will win. Who do I want to win? I'm always a small market guy. I'll always pull for small markets. I think that's good for any product in the NBA, NFL, MLB. So I'm all in. I'm all in with the Bengals.
How important was NWA to the Raiders, like overall popularity?
Huge. I mean, we all had the hats, the Raiders hat. It's almost like how Jay-Z wearing the Yankees hat, so identifiable, Jay-Z and the Yankees. Growing up, it was NWA, Ice Cube, Dre, Eazy-E, wearing all black and silver. That's what we did as kids.
Plus, you wanted to be the bad guy or the villain anyway, so that fit right in with the Raiders.
Lester Hayes was my favorite player.
Did you ever meet him?
No, never did. I mean, he used to put all the stick-em on. I mean, I never played football. If I was to play football, that's who I wanted to be because him and Ronnie Lott were like, they were everything to me.
But your mom wasn't going to let you play football.
No. Look at me. Look at me.
Cheryl could have played football before.
Cheryl would have been a better football player than I would have been a football player.
How much do you weigh now, and how much did you weigh when you retired?
I retired. I weighed 193 because of my cycling now. I'm down to 183.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the bike a lot.
Yeah, you're thin. You're thin.
I'm not thin. I would say I'm...
You're lean.
I'm lean.
Lean-er.
Yes.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I'm okay.
It looks like you could still shoot. You could still
I can
play.
still shoot. That'll never leave me. You know that.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you ask me to get out there and move my feet, that's a different story.
All you got to do is be stationary. You can play. They just put you in a corner.
They were handing out these 10 days. Look, I
mean, DeMarcus Cousins has less mobility than you do.
I can run to a corner.
Yes.
And shoot a three.
Yeah.
Fall back into a 2-3, 3-2 zone. I'm good. Fall back into a zone. I told everyone, fall back into a zone. Sign me up for a 10-day. I'm there.
What is the headline of the NBA season so far?
I think it's the young gun teams. You look at Cleveland, Charlotte, Minnesota.
Memphis.
Though Memphis made the playoffs last year, even though they're a young team, I think they're ahead of the curve than some of the other ones I mentioned. Ja's been fantastic. He's in the MVP, obviously, discussion and running. But it's been the young teams and probably the disappointment of some of the established teams or teams that we thought were going to be at the top. The Lakers, obviously. Brooklyn has lost 8 straight. Obviously, they're, KD with the injury. Harden's been out the last few games and the whole Kyrie situation. So we're disappointed in the Blue Bloods, but we got to be excited about some of these young teams.
You still look at Phoenix as the team to beat in West, Milwaukee in the East?
I say Phoenix and Golden State out west, and Memphis scares me because they're young enough and they're dumb enough, and they've got a point guard who is not scared of anything. And like I said, they've got playoff experience for what they did last year. I think out west or out east, no one is talking about Miami. And they are the one team that scares me because they constantly play defense. They're well coached, champion coach, and they've had so many injuries, and they still continue to win. Injuries to Jimmy Butler, Bam, Lowry, and they've all found an opportunity to still win ball games. To me, in the East, it's Milwaukee and Miami as the two best teams. But right now, if you look at the standings, Brooklyn is sitting 7. They're in the play-in situation, right? But if you're 1 and 2, do you want to see Brooklyn in that play-in situation, win that, and then they're going to have to face number 1 or number 2? I don't want that to happen. So I think Brooklyn will move up once KD comes back. But my favorites is Miami and Milwaukee in the East.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the Nets do. If there's been all of this smoke, where are they going to trade James Harden? They deny this, Ben Simmons. Like, at what point are you're trying to prove a point, but do you do a disservice to this Nets team by just keeping them, whatever this lineup is? I watched James Harden the other night.
Right.
He looked terrible.
Right.
And I know he's got decent numbers, but I don't. It feels like he doesn't know where he is on that team. Is Kyrie playing tonight? KD's out or KD's not? What's my role here? It almost feels like he's not having fun the way we usually expect that with James Harden.
And everything you said is spot on. Here's my only thing. How a healthy Brooklyn with KD, Kyrie, and James, it's going to be so difficult to beat them 4 out of 7 if they're all on the same page. Now, again, it will depend if mandates change, if Kyrie can play some of these home games or he's only going to play on the road games. To beat them 4 out of 7 when they're healthy and whole, I mean, that's asking a lot. They've only played 17 games together since they've been together. So that's the challenge.
Yeah.
I think James has gone after this season. I don't think they're going to trade him, but I do think he's gone after this season. So the question for Brooklyn, do we trade him now and get something for him, or do we lose him for nothing? That's, I think, what the Nets brass is probably kind of wrapping their head around now.
Explain to me how Chris Paul, with feels like limited athleticism, still can dominate a game and get you 25. Wait, he's the last true point guard, it feels like, in the NBA. And you watch him, he's not fast, he's not big, not quick, can't jump. But I've never seen a guy or remember a guy who finds spots. He finds his spot. And he takes advantage of that. And he's very, very smart.
He is the greatest leader, probably along with LeBron James, in our game. He is so smart, and he understands everything you just highlighted of his deficiencies. He understands how to win ball games and where he can be successful on the court. And now you pair him with an up-and-coming young guy who can give you buckets in Devin Booker. You surround him. Phoenix and their team, they're brilliantly coached by Monty Williams, and they've got a bunch of specialists. They understand their roles. No one's going to step outside the boundaries for them. Mikal Bridges, I know I got to play defense and knock down corner threes. Ayton, McGee, Bismack Biyombo, who they found somewhere in a bus stop. I understand I got to rebound, set screens, and roll hard and run the floor. So Cameron Johnson, I come off the bench, I shoot threes. No one's trying to do more than what they're asked of, and they understand that, and that's why they've been so successful. And then you couple together, they're well coached, and you've got the best leader, general, in the game in Chris Paul. That's why they have the best record.
He's Reggie Miller, the Hall of Famer, a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team. He'll be on the call for the Bucks and Suns Thursday night. How much of a surprise was that? Or was it a surprise to be on the 75th?
Huge. I didn't expect it because you look at the top 50 that was 25 years ago, all those guys deserve to be on it, and obviously they're on this one as well. So it was really the next 25. So when they were announcing it and they got to the last day of the last 25, and my name had not been mentioned.
How did you find out?
On air.
Oh, that's right.
I had just done that piece with Steph Curry, and that's what I thought we were going to talk about with the guys in the studio. So they had me come over early for a West Coast game, which I thought was a little odd because they were on early in the East Coast. I'm like, why am I coming over at 2 o'clock to talk about this Steph piece when we could just talk about it right before the game? I was like, all right, I'll do it anyways, because the piece was cool. And I know they were announcing the next 25, and I was doing the math like they hadn't mentioned Shaq or Dwayne Wade or a whole host of other guys. So I got up to about 19 or 20. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be one of those 5 of the guys that have not been announced yet. And then as you saw the rest, when Ernie said, how does it feel to be teammates with Steph? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I interviewed him, He's like, no, you're on the 75 team. I'm like, oh. And then I said something else. Yeah, because I didn't expect to be on there. I hoped to be on there. I would put my resume up against anyone of the top 75, but, I didn't win a championship. My numbers are great, but you just never know. So I'm very honored to be on there. It's the greatest team. It's almost better than being in the Hall of Fame, to be on the 75th, one of the 75th top players ever in this game. It's kind of cool.
Let's go through who you're better than. Let's run down the list.
No, I'm not better than. No. Because you get more into who didn't make it. Dwight Howard, unbelievable resume. Klay Thompson, unbelievable resume. Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Alex English. These are all guys that some I've played against. All deserving.
You don't walk by Dwight Howard and just kind of walk a little.
I might walk
taller.
by and laugh. No, I'm just kidding. No, look, 3 or 4 time Defensive Player of the Year, a champion. Absolutely not, because again, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. It really is.
It was a couple of days ago. Paulie played the Kobe commercial when he's having a drink and Jalen Rose walks by.
Maybe one of the best commercials of all time.
And poor
Right?
Jalen sees him, and Jalen goes, oh. And Kobe got a martini, like, how many olives? 81. And Jalen,
But it's the pause when they're looking at one another,
It's
right?
so good.
And then he's like, oh, I'm just kidding. Just a joke for my friend, right?
Oh.
He gets it. See, that was Kobe. That was Kobe. Like, people really didn't understand, or he was misunderstood at times because he didn't really interact a lot with the opposition.
But the difference between Kobe and Mike with that personality trait was what?
I think,
Or is it the same?
both Mike and Kobe didn't interact with the opposing teams. Like, I knew Michael a little bit. I knew Kobe a little bit better because we had the same agent. And I think Kobe was a little bit more, especially towards the younger generation, his younger generation, of helping guys out. Mike never wanted to help anyone out. He just wanted to destroy. He didn't care about your feelings. Kobe cared a little bit, but Michael didn't care how you felt, who you were married to. He didn't care about anything but destroying you.
But why do you think Kobe had that ability or willingness to help out the next generation?
I don't know. I think maybe paying it forward. Look, we all know that Kobe idolized Mike, and people say, well, who's the greatest two guard of all time? To me, Michael is 1A, but Kobe's 1B now. That's not far off. I mean, it's 1A, 1B. He's not far off. And maybe he just took bits and pieces of Mike's personality and kind of changed them into what he was like a little bit.
How is LeBron not dropping off?
That's amazing, right?
Yes.
Look, I'm going to say this. This is his 19th year at age 37, 38.
And 3 seasons of playoff basketball.
It's remarkable because I could barely walk after games after my 18th year. I know he spends well over $1 million on body maintenance, and it's well worth it. But to play at this high level against this competition and to be this successful this late in his career, it's kind of like Tom Brady. It's almost like we lost a family member when Tom Brady decided to retire, because we all remember that comeback versus the Rams down 27-3. There's no way at 44 this dude should be retiring. We want to continue the memory. Same with LeBron. We want to continue to see this. And I tell people, you better appreciate it while you're seeing it unfold with the Chris Pauls, the LeBrons, the Carmelo Anthonys, because we're not going to see it very often or again. It's kind of remarkable to see.
Does LeBron end his career as a Laker?
I think a lot depends on Bronny, right? It depends on if and when he will be, when he's drafted and where he goes. It would kind of be cool to see them play together. I think LeBron would sacrifice playing here in L.A. if Bronny got, drafted somewhere out east.
But what if the Kings draft Bronny?
Wouldn't that be fitting? A king joining the Kings?
Oh, okay, all
hey!
right. Oh.
I am on Patrick now, right?
You're back. You are back. I could see him ending wherever Bronny is drafted.
Yeah.
Now, are we sure that Bronny is going to be drafted?
I think name alone, someone would take a flyer on him,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I've watched him. He's not the best player on his own team, but he does have those moments. It's just you're watching going, that's LeBron's son.
I would draft pedigree, and a young man who's seen so much throughout his lifetime through his dad's lens. I would take that experience and a shot of getting LeBron later on as well. I would do that.
Yeah, Paulie.
You know how it always goes bad for the Knicks? What if the Knicks draft Bronny James and LeBron goes, nah, I'm good. I'm good over here. I'll watch on NBA package.
I can see the Knicks. The Knicks need help.
They never get it right. Why?
I felt they had turned the corner last year. Randall was most improved. They had made the playoffs. It was a good feel-good story. The Knicks are back. They opened up this season with an overtime huge win versus Boston. Everyone's going crazy. And then the bottom falls out.
It felt like they were celebrating getting to just a better-than-average level.
Yeah.
They beat the Hawks one game, and the fan base, you would have thought they won the NBA championship.
Right.
And I thought, these are the Knicks. You don't act this way. Like, you want championships there.
Not only do you want championships, but you want deep playoff runs. And they won the one game against Atlanta, and then Trae Young went crazy on them, right?
Yeah.
So they're still fighting for that play-in seed in the East, but it's been a disappointing season this year because of what they did last season.
But do you think that owner is going to keep people away with free agency? That Durant was not going to go there, Kyrie was not going to go there. It feels like with that ownership, you're not going to get players who are going to entertain. New York is a serious destination.
I can't speak to the ownership. I mean, it is New York, and there's only one way to go if you're a New York Knick, and that's up. I don't know why you wouldn't take a gamble and potentially go there, but because of social media, you don't have to go to the big markets anymore.
Yeah.
You can go to smaller markets and still have commercials and make money and so forth.
I said this to the Danettes when I heard that Zion had off-season surgery, and I said, this is a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
And then it was like, he's not going to start the season. And I said, guys, this is a serious issue. That size, that injury. I haven't heard a good update on Zion Williamson. And
I haven't heard any update on Zion Williamson. Last I heard that he was rehabbing on his own somewhere in Portland. That's it. That's our update. Look, an all-star player. We know the talent is there, but to me, it's always been about the weight issue, and I just think he's carrying too much. We've been on this show. How many times have I said he's carrying too much weight? He needs to get.
Why don't you buy him a bike? Get him a bike.
He can come out to Southern California. I'll get him a bike. He can come ride the hills with me.
He couldn't keep up with you.
Sure he could.
No, he could not.
I would crush him.
I know.
I would crush you, Zion.
I know. Now, by the way, the Greek Freak's now making threes, Reg.
That's scary,
I know.
Right?
If he ever is able to do that consistently, then it's not going to be.
The key word is consistently, and will you trust that in the playoffs?
Yes. You'll be on the call. You get to watch the Bucks and the Suns. That'll be Thursday night.
Ooh,
at 10
rematch.
Eastern. Yeah.
Finals rematch.
And then All-Star Weekend coverage as well.
I'm excited about that.
You want to go outside? Maybe shoot some hoops?
We got a hoop here?
Yeah, it's out there.
Come on,
Yeah,
man. Let's
yeah.
go.
All right, we'll take a break.
Let's go.
We'll be
Why
back.
not?
Talk to you during the commercial break here on Peacock. We'll be shooting some hoops. I don't think our form is worth judging, but it might be worth
Mine
just.
either. Mine
No.
either. It's been a while.
Oh, please stop it. Back after this. Bring it.
Banks open.
Aren't we supposed to open this, get this up higher? Or is that up?
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, just like Shaq
Reggie. Oh, Reggie, that would have been tough to explain. You go home and the wife's mad at me. Mama Bear is mad at me.
Like, what did they do to you?
Now you felt like Shaq, didn't you?
See, that's how Shaq felt. And I think that was New Jersey when he brought it down, right?
when
In the Meadowlands.
Do you care about shooting anymore? Like when you go to, when you're,
I do. I started shooting more.
when you're around a gym, do you want to, like when you go
Anytime
to,
I see an empty gym. and
like
a
the
ball.
Garden, when you go, okay, Suns and Bucks Thursday night,
Yes.
will you shoot?
I will not shoot.
You don't care.
I don't care. Only time I care now shooting is with my son because he's getting
he
into
play?
basketball. Yeah, he plays, but he plays the wrong way.
What does that mean?
Because he comes out, instead of properly warming up, and he's like, Steph Curry! I'm like, dude, Steph Curry didn't come out and start shooting 30-footers. Come in here, get a proper warm-up.
See, that's the problem. Dad used to shoot deep. Now he wants to
Yeah,
be
but
like.
Dad practice and work hours and
Dan, can we show
hours.
him a Fritzy shot?
Oh,
work.
Fritzy. There you go. Here you go, Reg.
Oh, here we go, Fritzy. Let me see what you got. No, Fritzy.
Fuck it!
Good night.
See? That was nice. Outside shooting some hoops with Reg.
That was special, right?
You still got it. You still got it. And then Fritzy right on cue.
Wow.
25
I
foot
didn't plan it.
That was
left-handed
beyond luck.
bank
No,
shot.
it wasn't on. Don't ever.
No, it
admit
was. No,
anything like
it
that,
was.
Fritzy.
It was.
He's seen me make many misses of that.
Yeah, because you know the guy that shoots and you might get hit in the head.
Yes.
And that's Todd. Todd, when he takes that, all he does is take these hook shots from 25
they hate
feet.
playing with me because it ricochets wildly off the rim or the backboard, and they're like ducking from it.
DP's show during Super Week brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. We were talking about, how guys normally say they're taller than what they really are.
Right.
Like, did you lie about how tall you were?
Yes. In high school, I was 6'4". I said I was 6'6".
Okay.
I grew into 6'6".
Yeah.
And eventually 6'7". But yeah, you always want to say you're taller than you really are. Like Charles, everyone thought Charles was 6'7". No, dude, you're 6'3". You're 6'4".
Yeah. That was amazing. First time I stood next to Charles and I went, he's not that much
You were
taller
looking
than me.
eye to eye. You're probably looking down on Charles, right?
Yeah.
You were looking down on Charles.
I still one of the most amazing players when you think at that size
Yes.
what he was able to do.
Yes.
And maybe underrated. But I wonder if he had gotten, somebody had gotten with him and said, I'm going to mold you into something more. Would Charles have been able to do that and be
I
that
think someone
dedicated?
did. I think someone did.
In
It was
Phoenix?
It was Moses Malone while he was still in Philly.
Oh, okay.
He admits his first couple years, hey, I'm from Leeds, Alabama. I'm happy to be here. I like my food. He was too heavy. And between Moses and Dr. J, they're the ones who got him on the diet and had him shed all that weight and kind of molded him into the type of basketball player that he eventually became.
These guys, when it was a few years ago, they saw Dr. J at the airport. And I was having breakfast or something. They came over and they're like, Dr. J is right. And I said, well, go with him. And you could see these guys running after Dr. J. And there's just such grace attached to Dr. J when he moves. Yes,
It's just, there's something about just the way he walked, like his gait. You know what I mean? And he was just strolling down. He was the coolest dude I've ever seen.
If Dr. J was an actor, I think he would be like Bond, 007. Yeah. That's how we perceive Dr. J. Just cool, nothing fazed him. under pressure, could handle anything. That's how we perceive Dr. J as Bond 007.
I always looked at him and I thought if you could see Jazz moving,
Yes.
that's Jazz.
Yes.
And,
yes.
and like there's certain guys, if you attached music to them, Dr. J was always Coltrane or
Yes.
Thelonious
Yes.
Monk.
Miles.
Yeah,
Yes.
Miles. Yeah, something about it. This day in sports history, Paulie?
Just for Reggie's reaction, in 1994, Michael Jordan signed a contract to play for the Chicago White Sox baseball.
It was the best day of my life. It was the best day. I remember this vividly. What's the date?
January
Today.
1994, February
I am
1994.
sitting on the training table in Indiana. Your former network is on, Sports Center. Everything's breaking in and all that. And he's getting ready to sign that. And I'm thinking, I'm getting my ankles taped. I'm thinking, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Yes, it was the best day. Go, get away, be gone.
And then he came back.
And who did he come back against? Ding dong, the witch is here, the witch is here, the witch is here. Against my beloved Pacers and myself.
Did you think that maybe he wasn't going to be what he once was?
I knew he was going to be because in between that time, he filmed Space Jam. And we were out here. He filmed it out here on the Warner Brothers lot. And he had the Jordan Dome erected where he had to be able to work out and all that. So we would come over and scrimmage with him. He filmed all day, and open run started like around 7 o'clock with all the pros. And everyone wanted to say, well, let's see what Michael Jordan's going to look like, He looked like Mike, felt like Mike, elbowed like Mike, quick step like Mike. So I knew he was coming back.
What we learned brought to you by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app. Use the promo code Patrick. Get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week. Your first deposit, minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. The great Reggie Miller will be on the call. Bucks Suns Thursday night. Aloysius, thank you, buddy.
Oh, so good to be back with family.
We'll do it
With
again
family.
tomorrow. Dan Patrick Show.